Hello everyone, it's Dale here, and in this video I'd like to show you my 3 most favorite price action setups. I've been using those 3 setups for over 10 years, so they are battle tested and I've been using them successfully up until today. I prefer to combine them with volume profile strategies, but today I'll focus just on those 3 price action setups. So let's get to it, let's check them out. The first one will be the support becoming resistance setup. The second one, ABCD setup. The third one, fair value gap. So let's start with the support becoming resistance setup. Now, if you look at this chart, notice those 2 reactions. The price was reacting to this level in the past. That means that it was a resistance in the past, right? Because the price was reacting to that level. The price doesn't need to react exactly to that level. It is enough that it is in this general area. And what happened next was that the price went past that resistance, and that means that resistance turned into a new support. And this is exactly the setup that I like to trade so much. It's as simple as that. You simply need to find a level where the price bounces off strongly, like in here. Then the price needs to go past that level, turning resistance into new support. When that happens, you just wait for pullback to that support and you take long from there. All right, this is long trade scenario. Now let me show you a short trade scenario. It is the same, only reversed. What you need to see is price reacting to some level in the past, like this. See, the price was bouncing off a level which was here, somewhere in this zone. And because the price was making those reactions, that means that it was a support. The more reactions, the better. In here we have 3, which is fantastic. 2 are also good, but for me even 1 is good enough if I find a confluence, for example, with a volume profile setup. But ideal case, there are more of those strong reactions, and this is telling you that this was a strong level in the past. And then you need to see the price shoot past that level, like in here, right? When this happens, the support turned into a new resistance. And this is the resistance you want to trade from. So you wait for pullback, and when the price hits that resistance, you go short. All right, this is the short trade scenario. Let me show you one more example. And here the price made just 1, but pretty strong and aggressive reaction in here, and then the price went past that zone the price was reacting to before. So in here there was a resistance in the past, and you can tell because of this strong reaction, right? That's why I'm saying that there was a resistance. When the price blew past the resistance then turned into a new support, and you just need to wait for a pullback, and when the price reaches this support, then you go long. All right, so this is the support becoming resistance setup, or resistance becoming support setup. Now let me go over to the next price action setup. Now this next price action setup is called ABCD, and it's based on the fact that the price likes to move in sort of wave-like manner, like this. Or like this for a bearish scenario. Now, let me give you a little description of this setup before we jump into the charts. The whole trick behind this is that the distance from this point A, this is a significant swing point, to significant swing point B is the same, the distance is the same as from significant swing point C to significant swing point D. Right, so that's why it is called AB, because that's this distance is equal to distance from C to D. So those two distances are the same. You measure that with Fibo, and I'll show you how. And basically you look for this wave-like movement, and from this point D, I'll show you how you can find this using Fibo. You go long. That's for the bullish scenario. And for the bearish scenario, it is the same thing, only reversed. You need to see important swing point A, the price goes to swing point B, makes this pullback to swing point C, goes up again, and you identify this level D, and this is a resistance, and you go short from there. So this is the wave-like movement you want to see in a chart, and let me show you how to go about this on those two examples. So on the chart, you need to identify a significant swing point. I'll call it a swing point A. The price goes upwards to swing point B. Then the price needs to go and make a little pullback, and the pullback needs to go below 50% of the AB distance. Right, so you use the Fibo tool to measure the distance from A to B, and the point C needs to be below 50%. And what you do next is you grab the Fibo and you measure this distance, but from the point C, which is in here, that's that swing point. So you measure that distance, and that distance will show you the point D. Right, you can see that on the second picture here. We have point A, point B, pull back to point C, and then the same distance as from A to B is the same distance as from C to D. So you identify the D, and from there you go short. This is kind of hard to explain. I'll show you on one more example, and then I'll show you on a live chart, and that should make it easier. So this is a bullish scenario. The price is moving from this swing point A, goes down to swing point B. Then you need to see that pullback at least to 50% of that distance from A to B. So there is that pullback. And then you grab the Fibo and measure the distance from A to B, and the same distance is from C to D. This way you find the D using the Fibo, because this distance is the same as this one, and from the point D, that's where you enter your long trade. All right, now let me show you on euro dollar yesterday's chart. Now, when you start practicing this price action setup, it will become easier and easier to spot. So don't worry if it's a little bit difficult right now. When you are starting with the setup, it will only get easier. So anyways, this is point A, a significant swing point. Then the price goes upwards here. This will be called the point B. Then you need to see a pullback. I'll just grab Fibo here, and that pullback needs to go below 50% of this range, right? So it needs to go below this line, and this is the low of that swing point, right? So this is the point C. So what you do now is you grab the Fibo and do this. You use it to measure distance, right? So the price goes from A to B, and the same distance is from C to D. This is level D, and from there the price goes downwards. So D, that's the resistance, and that's the place where you go short from. All right, that's the D. So here's the wave-like pattern, right? From A to B, pull back to C, then the price goes higher, to the level D and down, this being your short level. Now let me show you one more. This important swing point, this will be point A. The price goes downwards to this one. This is B. Then the price goes upwards to point C. And then you measure the distance from A to B, like this. Take the Fibbo, make it start at the C, and this level, I'll draw a line here, this level will be support. So you just need the price to drop to this support and go long from there, right? That's the D. D is the support. So let me move the chart a little bit, and here's the reaction, right? So A, B, C, D, and from there you go long. And that's the whole trick about this. This is kind of funny setup, isn't it? But I've been using for so many years and it never really let me down, so that's why I'm still using it, even though it's a little bit funny using Fibbo like that. But it is working, and that's what counts. Now let me go to the third price action setup, and it is the fair value gap setup. So the fair value gap, that's a concept from smart money trading. It is basically a formation of 3 candles. A bullish scenario would look something like this. You have 3 candles, and there is a gap between the high of the first candle and the low of the third candle, right? This being the first candle, this is the second, this is the third one, and you need to see a gap like this, and it is called fair value gap. And in a bullish scenario like this, I like to trade from the bottom of this gap, which means from here. This is the bottom of the gap, and I like to trade from there. So I wait for pullback and go long from there. It is easy as that. You just need to find this formation in your chart, right? Now the bearish scenario, it is the same, only reversed. So let me just do a quick drawing here. You need to see 3 candles. They could look, for example, like this. And the gap which you are looking for is between the low of the first candle and the high of the third candle. Right? This is the fair value gap. And I like to trade from the top border when I'm trading shorts, right? So that means I wait for a pullback to this place, and from there I go short. As you can see, this is quite simple. Let me show you on chart. I actually have an indicator which automatically draws those fair value gaps. I'll leave a link below this video and you can download it for free. So if you look at this chart, then the fair value gaps are highlighted here. Let me show you this one huge fair value gap on the euro dollar. So basically you're looking for those 3 candles, right? This will be the candle number 1. This huge candle will be the candle number 2. And this green candle, that's candle number 3. And there needs to be a gap between the low of the first candle and the high of the third candle, right? So this whole zone, that's the fair value gap. As I was saying, the software draws that automatically. And for a short trade scenario, I trade from this level. As you can see, I have that level on my chart here. So I plan to enter my short from there. Currently, I'm just waiting for pullback, and when the price reaches here, I'll go short. There's one more. If I go a little bit higher, then there's another gap. Again, we have 3 candles. 1, 2, 3. This is the high of the third candle. this is the low of the first candle, and there is that gap. And again, I'm looking for going short from this level, because this is the higher border of that fair value gap, right? So I wait for pullback and go short from there. Now, what I really like to do is combine those setups together with, let's say, volume profile setups or other trading setups, but most often it's volume profile setups. Let me show you. Let me use the volume profile here over this zone. As you can see, this is the short level, the first short level I was showing you. This is the fair value gap. And in here we have massive heavy volume zone. And that level is the beginning of that heavy volume zone, right? So we have a nice combo of this price action setup and also of a volume profile setup. The same thing goes for that level which is a little bit higher. There are also heavy volumes here. And also that fair value gap. This is the beginning of that fair value gap. This is where I want to go short from. What I also like to do is combine more setups if possible. If I scroll back a bit, let me delete this, then as you can see, there's also that support becoming a resistance setup, right? Because the price made a huge reaction of this level in the past. That means that in the past, this was a support, right? Up until this time, when the price blew past the support, and the support turned into a resistance. All right, so we actually have two price action setups here. The first one is the fair value gap. The second is the support becoming resistance setup. And the third one is that volume profile setup. And that's how I like to do things, right? I like to combine setups like this. And those three price action setups are my favorite ones, and I prefer to combine them with volume profile setups. And if you guys liked this and found it interesting and would like to learn more about this, then you can visit my website. It is trader-dale.com, and if you click this button which says trading course and tools, then it will take you to a page where you can browse my trading indicators and trading education. Right now I'm running special Halloween sale where you can get my education and indicators massively discounted. In here, this is the volume profile pack, which will teach you everything about volume profile trading. Then there's the order flow pack, focusing on day trading with order flow. And the third pack is the VWAP pack, that's the newest pack, and it focuses on trading with VWAP. Because I'm currently running this Halloween sale, you can scroll down a bit and get all of the packs together for a discounted price. That's until the end of the month. Alright, so that's about that. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you next time, and until then, happy trading.